Good morning. It's Tuesday, August 20th, and the Democratic National Convention is going on now. And Kamala Harris and the rest of the Democrats are formulating or continuing to formulate their attack on the Republican Party and Donald Trump in order to win the election in November. But I don't want to talk about that. I'm going to talk about the infamous Project 2025 and what does it all mean. This project was started by the Heritage Foundation about 2 years ago. They spent $22 million developing the idea for Project 2025. It has a huge amount conservative initiatives that it would like the U.S. government to put into place. Donald Trump has something similar to this document, but claims he knows nothing about Project 2025. Now, this talk that I'm about to give is really an overview. I can't go into any great detail on any of these areas because there are so many of them, but I'll start out with a brief description. Okay, so the project asserts a controversial interpretation of what they call the unitary executive theory. That is something that means that the president is in control, exclusive control of the government, and he can do anything he wants. It proposes reclassifying tens of thousands of federal civil workers as political appointees, and that's in order to be able to replace them under the president's executive control. And the proponents of this project argue that it would dismantle what they view as a vast, unaccountable, and mostly liberal, that's the key word, liberal government bureaucracy. This is put out, of course, by the Heritage Foundation, who was probably so far right that you couldn't find them without turning around. The project also seeks to infuse the government and society with conservative Christian values. The critics have characterized Project 2025 as an authoritarian Christian nationalist plan to steer the U.S. government towards autocracy, not democracy, autocracy, kingship type thing. And legal experts said it would undermine the rule of law, undermine separation of powers, undermine the separation of church and state, undermine all the civil liberties that we have in this country. The project also envisions large changes to the economic and social policies and the federal government and its agencies. This plan proposes taking partisan control of the Department of Justice, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the Department of Commerce, the Federal Communications Commission, the Federal Trade Commission, the Department of Homeland Security, all of those things, in addition to instituting tax cuts But its writers disagree on the protectionism in this tax cut business. It recommends abolishing the Department of Education, whose programs would be transferred or terminated. Funding for climate research would be cut out entirely. The National Institute of Health would be reformed according to conservative principles. Who knows what that really means? The project seeks to cut Medicare and Medicaid and urges the government to explicitly reject abortion as a health care definition in some way, shape, or form. The project seeks to eliminate the coverage of emergency contraception and enforce the Comstock Act to prosecute those who receive contraceptives and abortion pills. Imagine that. No protective bags, no more pills. Can you imagine that? And it proposes criminalizing pornography. Now, when you criminalize pornography, you have to draw the line somewhere. I don't think that most people can draw a line on what pornography or not. Remove the illegal protections against discrimination based upon sexual orientation or gender identity, and terminating diversity, equity, and inclusion. Those are the DEI programs. And get rid of affirmative action by having the DOJ prosecute anti-white racists. The project recommends the arrest, the detention, and the deportation of illegal immigrants. It proposes the military for domestic law enforcement use. It promotes capital punishment and the speedy finality of those sentences. So they want to stop people from having the right to appeal decisions. And I know from experience that appealing a decision can keep you out of jail for years and can keep you from the death sentence for years. So these guys hope to undo all those things. And they hope to undo almost everything that the Biden administration put into effect. But it goes deeper than that. It goes to undo democracy entirely, creating an autocratic system, a kingship, one man rule. I don't think this country is prepared for anything like that. The mere fact that this conservative organization has taken the time to spend $22 million developing this plan, which I have only covered a portion of, tells you something about this country and how divided we are. We cannot afford to allow crazy conservatism any place near the tops of our government. So I leave you at that. An American disgrace. The Heritage Foundation. Have a great day. Bye.